Sit down and be quiet.
Stream.
We are
Sorry.
live, and I have no
We are
idea
live.
if this is working.
Hello.
OBS is
Hello,
dropping
everybody.
frames like nobody's business.
Well, if this is the case, we've tried to stream. We can't though.
having some
so this is
serious
supposed to be
issues.
episode 41, something like that, of OKKO Anime Club, and I don't think we're gonna be able to do it today. So
I've pulled it up on my phone to see what the quality's like now that we've gone live. Let's see what the chat has to say about this.
oh my god, the layout is my favourite thing.
Hello.
Yay. Move it around like this.
Why is
Oh
it
my god.
tap to retry? Live, and I have no idea if this is working. Hello. OBS is dropping frames like nobody's business. Sorry, this is me watching the stream back.
Well,
If this is the case, we've tried to
Okay, so
We're getting meta here.
oh look, here he
It's a
is.
stream inside a stream.
It's all gone wrong. Right, give me a sec. So like, Alan, as soon as you hit the start streaming button, we'll be live. So bear that in mind.
Are we live now then?
Probably. I'm just dancing. This is we're finally
Enjoying
live.
it.
Okay. I'm just gonna put that
We're
we're
live.
live again.
The
in
health
chat.
is good. The health is
We're
good.
live.
We are
We are
alive.
live.
We're live. We're alive. Oh, it's
Wow.
alive.
That was a
It's
bit of a disaster moment.
Sorry. Go on,
Sorry about
Vanessa.
that. Sorry about that. Yeah.
We live.
So hopefully we should be live again. I'm still
I
on the
think we
bit.
are.
Oh, there we go. Right. Okay, we're live again.
We're good. We're all good.
Okay. Whew, right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 41 of OKKO Anime Club.
Right,
Today we
again.
are talking about Snow White with the red hair, and today we are joined by, as always, first of all, Cam.
Hoi, I'm Cam.
I am in Pat's place. Pat is in my place. We're not fixing it. Pat is on Bizarre Jelly 5. I'm
Hello, I'm
Animelting.
Bizarre Jelly 5. I
Our
make
special
wonderful
guest
videos.
today is me, I guess, but Bizarre Jelly 5 is our guest.
It's all right. We're not even gonna have a guest next week. We're gonna have a
No,
guest
let's
Ross.
not even question it now.
Guest next week. We've got guest Ross Kinross, so it's all good.
Guest Ruskin Ross. So today we are joined by Pat, our very, very good friend Pat. So
And
Pat, why don't
Animelting.
you
I'm
introduce
here.
yourself?
I'm Pat. I have a channel. You can see these lovely people on our last seasonal video. This is kind of like what we did before when we were talking about anime. Yeah. We're back together again.
Yeah.
Twister melting jelly
I like-
rides again, although it needs a new name.
It does need a new name. Oh dear. Anyway,
I'll probably change
Frosty
it again in like 20 minutes
jelly
down
melter. Whoa.
wait until we've done a season and then change it again afterwards, so we have to keep coming up with new names.
the road.
Um,
Fresh.
but yeah,
It's the pitch over and over.
today
Shall we
we're
talk
talking-
about an anime?
Yeah, today we're
Yeah.
talking about Snow White with the red
Done.
hair.
Done.
Again, so sorry about the technical difficulties and stuff, but they should be good now. We got rid of the bad layout, so
Did we?
it's
Bad layout? What are you on about? Unfortunately,
I
we had to
meant
get
the
rid of
best
the good
layout.
layout.
Yeah.
I think we're still at the same.
Nah, it's different, man.
Oh.
Right, yeah, I forgot how we do this. So, Cam, what did you think of Snow White with the red hair?
I have no opinion. No, it was all right. I was yeah. Again, it was one of these shows where, because you'll be like, oh, Cam, let's do this, and then you'll say the name of a show that means nothing to me. Like, it'll just go completely above my head. And I did the normal thing, where I was just like, oh, this is probably just some reversed harem bollocks, isn't it? The usual stuff.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
Just calling them like I see them, all right. But no, I didn't get that. I got quite an interesting show. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it more than I didn't. I'm trying to think of the best. We've spent so much time panicking about like getting this whole thing sorted that all of the things that I had stored in my brain to say have gone out the window.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because it was better than I thought it was going to be. However, I wasn't completely blown away by it. I did find it a little bit boring in places, and I will quite readily admit that I fell asleep at a couple of stages. But the contributory factor in that might be that I was in a bed at the time. So
And bed equals sleep, not
sleep
anime.
happens in
So
there. Like my body goes, Cam, you're in bed. You know what happens in here. You pass the hell out. So
The negotiation that goes on before you fall asleep must be amazing.
yeah, it is. But no, like I say, there were some really good points, and I think it started to kind of ramp up towards the end of the season, and the last few episodes I felt were really, really good, particularly when birds got involved, because then I became emotionally invested straight away. Like, birds.
Bubs.
I like birds,
Someone
so we're all
bobs.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Pat, what did you think about this show?
I loved it. It was great. It was
Yeah, you
nice. It was everything I wanted it to be and more. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I know that you liked it, Abby, because you talked about it in like previous
Yeah, I've
seasonal
spoken about
things. So,
Yeah.
and you're like, just great show. It's got a prince in it, and it did.
It does have a prince in it.
that's 2. That's 3.
Yeah, so
can't-
many princes.
I don't think I can handle this.
Second princes, first princes. There's even probably a fifth prince somewhere.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
yeah, I didn't have any problems with it really. I mean, it was just a nice watch. I did like it that it had a strong cast, like, and they didn't always use the same locations. They were always somewhere, and it wasn't just stuck in the castle, or they were in a different part of the castle we hadn't seen before. And I always really liked that they weren't just sticking to, because a lot of shows now it's just like you're in a school all the time.
Classroom hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally agree.
and they varied the costumes as well, which you don't see that often. It's usually it's the same clothes because that's what they look good in. But they changed that up so often that it kept it fresh, and it looked nice as well. I think it was
Bones.
really bright
Bones.
and colourful.
Bones should do more shows, man. I'm gonna eat some buttons while we're doing this, by the way.
how dare you? How rude.
I don't care. I want some chocolate. Okay. So yeah, where I guess that leaves me.
Yeah.
I've
What
already.
did you think of it, Abby?
I've already spoken about how much I like it in places before. It's a show that caters to sort of my demographic and
What
Why
is
is
your
that?
demographic?
well, I guess like shoujo. Yes, it's shoujo. with
Girls
some
with like men
fantasy.
who are being princes.
It's got princes in it. It's just like got a lot of things that cater to me quite well. So I really
There's
enjoyed
fighting
it.
in it. I like those bits.
And it also had one of the most underrated characters of all time in there, but we'll talk about him later.
I think who that would be. So what are we going to talk
I
about
don't think
first?
you'll see it coming, but all right. Where should we start? Plot-wise, I don't remember what happened in the first season, so you guys are gonna have to carry me the fuck through.
Well,
So, there's a prince, right? And he likes Shiryuki, our main character,
he's like,
and he
he's
wants
like,
him.
that girl.
all
That girl's
fair.
got red hair. That's proper weird. Get in my house.
Yeah.
And then she's like, stuff that, get a haircut, and then she runs away. And she finds a castle, and she wants to stay there, but she can't stay there at night. She ends up sleeping outside of it. And then a guy comes up, and he's all like, what are you doing sleeping outside this building?
Sure,
And
he'll
she's
maybe
like,
maybe a
"Oh,
bridge theory. And then
And then she's all like, this dude won't leave me alone. He's over in this place where I used to live. And then they try and stay there, and then this guy rocks up and he's all like, you won't come with me back to that country. And then
He's got
they go
apples.
back, well, she goes back to the country,
Yeah,
and
there's
he
apples.
eats an
There's apples
apple,
involved.
and then the apple makes him really, really tired. And then, and then she's all like, bye. And then they get back to the castle, and the prince dude's all like, you're mine now. You will be here. And you got to beg for it as well, because you want this. And she's all like, blah, 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 blah. And then the guy comes back, and it turns out he's a prince. And he kicks the guy's chair over, and he makes him feel sad. And then Shiryuki goes back with the guy, and she lives happily ever after.
Yeah,
And that's
that
the
sounds
show.
about right.
And you narrate all anime from now on.
Snow White with the Red Hair. I'm just gonna look it up on Wikipedia.
I like that.
There's a reference to, like, Ken Ross has just said, it's the only Snow White relevant thing, the poisoned apples. They did mention dwarves at one point. There was one
there
line of
is a
dialogue where they
dwarf in
mentioned
it.
dwarves.
His name's Ryu.
Oh.
He's a babby. He's not a dwarf, he's a baby.
I was trying to figure out, is he grumpy? Is he sleepy?
There was
he dog?
like this one random line where someone's like, "Who do you think I am? I'm not a dwarf. What are you on about?" And it's just like, it's references.
And
then
Is
they
there
end
a
the
mirror on the wall?
Yeah, they do that opening line, but I feel like all the references just dissipated after episode 1. It was like, here are some references, no more.
No more.
It was really weird, that
in,
one where Shiryuki's getting ready to go to like the herbal place, and she goes, hi ho, it's off to work we go. And then she does that wicked whistling. I love that episode.
There is a reference to the actual story in season 2, but the only thing that I know of Snow White is Disney movie, and I haven't seen that since I was probably about 8 years old, so I don't know how up to date I am with my Snow White knowledge.
White lore.
Yeah,
Well,
I need to know the lore
bridge
of
version of Snow White.
No, it's fine. I know there were dwarves, I know there were apples, I know there was a witch, I know there was a mirror. I think that's all I need to know. And there was a prince.
This one has 3, so clearly it's 3 times better.
Well, I don't like the Disney movie that much personally, so that's why I haven't seen it so long. Yeah, I don't know if we should go episode by episode on this, because there are a lot of episodes where it's like, and then nothing happened. It was just a bit sweet.
It's pretty easy. There's like a large bulk of episodes where they're like, you should leave the kingdom, and you don't belong here. And then there's a lot of other episodes which are like, I have feelings for you, but I can't express them in a constructive way.
Hold up a sec. For those of you in chat, we are only talking about episode 1, season 1. Don't spoil season 2 for these two, because they haven't seen it, and it'll probably get talked about at some other point. Okay? Cool. Yeah. Thanks. Right. What happens then? So she goes to Clariness. She starts a new life. Still talks to the prince for some reason.
I've been calling it Clarence.
Like Clariness. I don't know. Sorry, like the fact that this stream was half an hour late is completely taking the wind out of myself.
Maybe it'll be easier if we talk about characters, because like episodes revolve around characters.
Starting at the first character, the most important character to episode 1, Prince Raj.
I love that guy. Like, he's a pig. Yeah. But I love him in the way that I love Bulk and Skull in Power Rangers. Like, I expect that whenever he comes onto the screen, I expect to hear like whoop whoop doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, because he's just a comical character. He's funny, which makes me laugh at how pathetic he is, and how immediately the rug gets pulled out from under him, and he's just this snivelling mess.
I do like in the first episode where Shiryuki's like, no, you're stupid, and I don't like you, and I'm gonna prove that you're stupid. Eat the apple or whatever. Like,
and he's just like, nah, mate, I poisoned it.
And he just looks like a complete mess. Like, sat on the balcony, like, what the hell is this? This
is the thing, right? Raj, I find Raj really interesting because, like, obviously the first thing that he does is go, I like you. Well, not I like you, but you're weird. And in order to keep you close to me, because you're weird, and I don't trust you because you're weird, because you've got this strange, appley hair, you can come to my house and be my concubine. And, like,
have to impress a lady. Don't do that.
Everyone's sexism alarm bells are going to be going off at this point. And this guy's horrible. He's a misogynist. He's doing this stuff. Kill him, burn him at the stake. But he just immediately becomes this like oath, and sort of becomes redeemable because of that. Even though when the show started, he was a twat.
He is a bit of a knob, but he's
Yeah.
a knob that I've learned to appreciate
I
over
think
over time.
that's the thing is he's
Well, he
he's
only
been
features in like 3 episodes, and he gets a decent
but
chunk
when
of
he comes
character
in-
development that time.
When he comes into it at the end, I'm like, you're not as piggish as I remember you being, so it's fine.
That's the thing. Like as soon as he is no threat. Like as soon as his power got taken away from him, he's just immediately not a threat. And
Yeah.
that sort of made him okay in a way. It's like, oh, he's a bit of a knob, but he's harmless. So
Yeah. He's a big
and that's kind of why I
pushover.
grew to like him a little bit.
I honestly thought I'd never sort of find him like a redeemable character, but I never thought he was going to show up again. So
Yeah, I
when
actually
did
thought he
show
was
up
going to be
later
a
on-
bigger part of the show, because the way I read it in the description, it sounded like he was constantly pursuing him. It didn't turn out that way, but
No, he's just like, you do you. I don't care now.
There's the situations where he's like actively trying to stay away from Shiryuki as well.
yeah.
It's just funny. Like when they're like, we're gonna give you a tour of the medicine house, and he's just like, oh no, I'm good for a tour. No, let's go over here. Oh, what's this?
And he's in like the corridor, and he's like, "Oh, this room's amazing. That's a storeroom. A storeroom?
I always wanted one of those. Why can't I have one in my castle? What's this? That is the toilet, sir. It's so disgusting. I love it.
The one thing I kind of don't get is why he sort of backs off at the end of episode 1, but she still goes elsewhere, like she doesn't go back to her home. That's the one thing I don't quite get.
She's all doki doki rabu rabu, and she gets a job, and all this thing.
Yeah,
Dunno.
well, maybe she's just like, Zen's pretty nice. Maybe
I
I'll
suppose
just
in the
follow
first
him.
instance, after she's like left and everything, and then has an opportunity to go back, would you immediately go back to like the town with that guy?
It
Like, I
depends
don't think
if I was a doctor or any sort of pharmacist where I had people relying on me,
True,
maybe. Like, it would
There's
depend
that
on
old
the
lady.
situation.
The old lady, he was all like, "Oh, you come."
She didn't even get her medicine in
every
the
day
beginning.
for
She was just
medicine."
like, "I'll come back and get it later."
She could
And then
be
she
dead
nicks off
now.
and it's
She could be dead.
She might be.
So what
It's
happened is
her fault.
Shiryuki accidentally locked the door on the way out. And she was just at the door going, "Why aren't you here?"
Looks around.
Slowly devolving into a
I
clump.
need my protein. Sorry.
The next character, Shiryuki. Let's talk about her. Snow White herself,
With the red hair.
with red hair. I can
She's
appreciate a character with red hair. Like, red hair's pretty standard and okay.
She's got red
you know.
hair, and thanks to Viewster, she's an herbalist.
And herbalist, yep.
An herbalist. I love
Used
how
to hype.
like, at
She's
first,
an
I was
upstanding
like-
woman who don't take no shit from no man.
I just love how, like, when it first said an herbalist, I was like, okay, that's just an error, and ignored it. And then they did it again.
Is it because you would say it in like an American accent, like an herbalist, or would you say
I
a
suppose-
herbalist?
Yeah, I suppose it's an herbal. You'd say an herbalist, wouldn't you?
And we'd
But
say a herbalist. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Down with
But
that
you would still write it a herbalist. Like
Yeah,
you
I
wouldn't
guess you
write
would.
it like you'd say it. So clearly this. Oh. Anyway, the thing that got me though is because they do it again. Like I thought, oh, that's just an error. They'll sort that out later on. Then they do it again, and then they refer to a herb as an herb. I was just like,
yeah, an herb, I guess. An herb garden.
they do say herbalist, but
Yeah.
they don't write herbalist. Like Emily's in the chat. She's our resident American. And I'm sure there are other Americans in the chat. How do
She
you
is
write
the only
herbalist?
one.
Do you write it herbalist? Is it like how you say orange? Do you type it as orange? Do you say caramel instead of caramel? I'm just doing this to piss her off.
Aluminum. Aluminium.
Aluminium. Anyway, Shiryuki, I really like as a character. Just to get this back on track, I think she's really sweet and really cute, and she's not like typical female shoujo protagonist where she's like, I really like reading a lot, and I'm really shy, and I'm a bookworm, like, you know, like every shoujo protagonist ever, pretty much. But she's got this like really unique thing about her, being the fact that she is an herbalist. The problem is, I don't think she's as strong as a character without Zen. Like, I think Zen is like the other half of her that sort of like completes her in a way, which I guess might be the point, but that's just my take on her personally.
I like her.
Yeah, you do.
She's fine. She does everything a protagonist should be. She's sympathetic enough that you go along with her and you're quite interested in what she's doing, but she's not weak enough that like everyone's pushing her around. And one of the best things is she's got a job, so she's just not sitting around all the time. She's actually interacting with the world. And seeing like that came through her eyes, her appreciation for every little thing, and like her reactions to things was really helpful for, I don't know, just feeling like you're a part of that world. Because they do some brilliant world building without actually just doing exposition the whole time. Like, they just drop little bits of information, and that just helps build that world up. Like, they don't make it too mystical. Whenever they, like, bring up, oh, there's a curse on this castle, they're sort of more rational and think she's very rational in the way she thinks. And I like that.
She's like, oh, there's something in the wood, or whatever.
That was cool. I felt like I was watching an episode of House.
And House.
The people closest to the fire are getting sicker.
I
haven't watched House in a while.
Never seen it.
I bet there's an episode where someone's like really ill and really weak and stuff, and then they go and investigate the house, and they've got an open fireplace, and they were using that wood. So they got their ideas from.
Yeah, I think she's very smart, and she does give the world a lot of context, because it is a fantasy world. It's just not too far from
our
own
world. It's not like high fantasy. It's not. There's nothing out of the ordinary, really.
It's not like, an elf.
There's a dwarf, for example.
It's very much like a history that could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably didn't, but it could have.
Yeah. I personally, I wasn't that blown away by her as a character. I appreciated that she wasn't, as you say, like the atypical kind of shoujo projection point. She did have her own personality that shone through beyond that. And like you say, she's got her own, like, she's got a job. She's kind of, and she's got a very clear, like, moral compass, and like her brain is built in a certain way that's quite consistent through the whole thing. I just didn't feel like her character was strong enough to make me go, yes, this lady is someone who I'm going to remember.
That's why I think she needs Zen. Like, I think the two work as a character together.
They're as a pair, they work really well, because Zen is kind of the same. He's quite generic without her.
But he's a prince, so he gets away with it, and it's fine.
But yeah, I think that's a good point, I think, to go with. Like, the majority of what makes this show interesting is the dialogue and how those two riff off of each other. I don't think any one single character in this series particularly stood out to me, apart from Raj. But it was their interactions that made it good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I agree. We'll talk about Zen now, I guess, because we've talked about Shirayuki. He is sort of the same,
and he's fucking delicious. That in that last episode, I was like, oh, hello.
He's a very good-looking character. He's very, very pretty. And I think the reason that I like him so much is because he's like sort of typical princely knight in shining armor sort of dude, which is, you know, a character type that I just like. He could have been the worst character, but if he like saved her once and was nice on occasion, I'd probably still like him. But I like Zen, but I like him more in the context of that relationship. Which is basically just what I've said about Shirayuki, and there's nothing really to be like, oh, he's so smart and different because he's a prince, you know? Like,
he swung his sword around a bit. It was like some of the ways that he resolved situations was quite clever. Like when you put into like the diplomatic things, Like, jumping forward to the whole situation with the island and the birds, like that was all his idea, like making them messengers.
Yeah.
So there's clearly something going on in there. But yeah. So yeah, it was all right, but yeah, like we said before, he was kind of weak without Shiryuki.
It's hard to say anything specifically about him because he's just a good character, and he doesn't really do anything that would make you question his morality
until you put a mask on him, and then he just becomes hotness.
Yeah. Oh god, that
I don't know what it was.
I wish he kept that.
Ooh,
yeah. When he takes it off, I was like, no, put it back on. And then he did, and I was like, yes. Perfect.
I think
a fun character in places.
I like how Shiryuki even says, like, he's like, oh, I've got this sweet mask, and she's like, yeah, it looks really good on you, and I was like, yes, I agree, woman. Oh,
I don't understand how nobody had the idea to use the birds as messengers before Zen. Good point. Good point, Skill. Yeah. So Zen, who else is there?
Shall we talk about his retainers, Mitsuhide and Kiki?
Mitsuhide, most underrated character of anime of all time.
Oh, there we go. That's the one you were
I
talking
love
about.
him. He's so funny. Like,
You kissed. Okay. Sorry, did I break something?
You broke up for a second.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. But yeah, I think Mitsuhide's great. I think he's really fun and like the perfect opposite to Kiki. Like I think those two are just such good contrasts to each other. And I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
And he gets one of I think the best episodes of this season where we get the backstory of Zen when he was a kid. And he meets that boy called Archery.
Archery.
I think
Yep.
it's Archery because it reminded me of atrium, like the organ in the heart.
He has got an odd name.
You know, in the heart. It's like a hole in the heart, which is ironic considering what happens to him.
I actually don't remember his name.
So it links up to a previous story where we're finding out about the older prince, and we'll get to him in a second. But Mitsuhide is buddied up with Zen, and Zen doesn't quite like Mitsuhide yet. And then turns out that one of Zen's friends is trying to kill him and his brother.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the story about how he came into it. Though I find it kind of weird how well he gets on with him, even though he just killed his only friend.
I think Zen sort of has to understand why that happened.
Yeah.
Well, he did try to kill him.
And then,
in
my
mind,
that arrow in the heart. He just
in my mind, it was just like,
and then he turns around. Great. That whole sword fight there was wicked.
How did they get to the point where they were such good friends? Because in like the scenes where we see them talking and stuff, it just seemed to be like, here's a sandwich and some heavily homosexual overtones. And that's kind of it. Like there was a bit like where I've got a great face. Yeah, you have. I'm not looking to marry a bloke. Oh.
As proved by Obi, Zen just loves people who can flip out of trees.
Yeah,
maybe, just maybe, they were trying to appeal to that small demographic that was just wanting a dude to ship Zen with.
And they turned him into a traitor. That's what they were trying to say. That is the undertext of that sequence. They don't agree with that. They don't agree
the moral
with
of this story.
Boys.
The moral of this story is princes can only be straight.
If you ship Zen with another man, that man is doomed to not only be a traitor but also die. So don't do it.
Mitsuhide, though, you know who I ship him with? Kiki.
No, I don't see it.
I do for some reason.
I
think they sort of like play on it quite hard. Like they want people to assume that's a thing. I don't think it will be, but it was a segue, okay? I only ship Mitsuhide with myself. But yeah, Kiki, she was like the complete opposite of Mitsuhide, where he was quite like fun, but
she didn't get to do that much, unfortunately. Though I would have liked to have seen Kiki do a bit more. She just seems to be the one that stands in the background and disapproves of everything, in a way.
That's why you should love her.
Does
Well, I do.
Kiki get some backstory in season 2, Abby?
Yes, she does.
Good.
Ah, cool.
I'm glad.
She's
she just-
Mitsuhide Obi.
Yep, I'm behind that one.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Cam? I can pick you up.
No, it's all right. It's fine. I was just going to say, Pat. It sounds like there's someone that Pat wants to talk about.
Oh yeah, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think Obi is
Oh,
my
he's-
favorite character.
He's
As well.
great, considering
At
he's
first-
introduced as like this assassin. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, he's only in this for one episode. That guy in the opening screen must be some other guy. He's not wearing that same hat. And then he just turns out to be great.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I was like, here's this like medieval fantasy sort of setup, and this guy's a friggin' ninja.
Yep. I really like Obi too, by the way.
Yeah, he's good.
Not
He's-
Obi-Wan.
His introduction.
But Obi too.
he's
But yeah,
really good.
I really.
I think he's
like
probably
Obi.
like I think my argument of none of these characters are individually strong still applies to Obi, but he's funny and like there are moments that he has that just make him shine above everyone else. And I think it's just because
Kind
he's
of
so
want to
different to
follow
everyone
his
else.
story a bit more. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
seeing the world from his eyes.
Yeah,
'Cause
I think he
I find him
because he is
just
so
more
different
interesting.
and he stands aside. And then there's that whole like undertone of him secretly liking Shiryuki as well. Like there was that
Yeah.
scene where he's like contemplating going for a hand and he's like, oh no. And I
But
was
there's
like,
also that
It's
shared
kind of
respect
sad,
he has
though.
with Zen that he
Yeah.
doesn't want to betray.
exactly,
Yeah, I think it's kind of sad because I think it's quite clear in season 1 that he does have some kind of feelings for her, but he also knows, oh, Zen really likes this girl. I think this girl really likes him too.
I will
Oh.
put my
The-
feelings aside.
Your mind
Yeah.
works on it because you're like, a relationship between Obi and Shiryuki is way more possible than one between Zen, like in that world.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know if Obi and Shiryuki would work that well.
Oh, definitely not. But that's how my mind was playing on at the moment. I was just like,
Um,
well,
And it
What's
makes me
his
feel awful because
older
I actually
brother?
really like Shuri. No, I really like Obi and I want him to be happy. And I think like that would make him very happy, but at the same time,
Maybe he'll find
It's-
someone else. Maybe he'll get with the bird girl who wears like hot pants for some reason.
you know, hot pants fantasy.
That was-
Someone's gotta
that was
end
the
up with
one-
bird
yeah,
girl.
it's like this is perfect costume design for fantasy. Put her in some hot pants.
I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't
Um,
complaining, but you know,
Yeah, Obi is. I probably don't like Obi quite as much as I like Zen. But I think that's just because Zen was around for a bit longer and was more of a prominent character in the like context of
yeah.
Shiryuki.
it's the
So
thing, he kind of stayed back until he became Shiryuki's like retainer,
mhm.
retainer, not
Hmm.
retainer. I love
dude that
bit
hangs
where
out with her.
there was that guy who was like spying on her, and there's the bit where he like tries to lob it away, and Obi literally just pops in from the side and goes, "Hey, this is mine now." It was brilliant.
And in terms of other characters, I think the only other one to sort of mention is probably the other prince,
His brother, who I've forgotten the name.
The older
Izana.
brother.
Izana.
He- I quite liked him. I thought he was great.
Yep.
You know who he reminded me of? Was Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Like he looks similar, and he has that sort of like air of arrogance around him when
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
I think the thing I appreciated about him is he basically represents what Zen should be like what society thinks that Zen should be, and he kind of epitomizes that because he is the definition of a prince in that world. Everyone loves him, everyone respects him, and he is at the top of the food chain, and he doesn't mess with the status quo. You won't see him fraternizing with commoners, that sort of thing. Doesn't matter what color their hair is.
yeah,
And that sort of thing. I think it kind of shows, and I like that they like when he first shows up, they present that as a bad characteristic. So he
yeah,
appears, he's basically like throwing his weight around and being a bit of a knob, and then they kind of go, well, yeah, he is a bit, but he's also awesome, and here's why. Here's how he uses his power for good. And then they show the whole thing between the two like warring countries.
The two
and how,
kingdoms.
like, he's like, I'm building a castle. Help me fund my castle, and I'll be your mate. And then the one's like, yeah, I'll be your mate. And then secretly the other guy's like, yeah, I'll be your mate. And they're all like, and then he's all like playing up, going like, have you heard this? Have you heard that the other guy wants to be my mate? You're my mate. Or is he on a bait? Oh, the other guy, he wants to be my mate as well. Get it? I know, right? What a joker. And then it all goes horribly wrong. And he's like, yeah, I did this on purpose. There was no castle. Troll face. And he's all like,
I thought he was only going to stick around for an episode or two. I thought he was just going to be, yep, I'm being a bag of dicks here. I don't think you two should be together. And he was going to nick off for a bit. But I like that he was sort of there as a sort of, I don't know, kind of a threat.
I think he will continue to be so as well. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the second season. But I imagine that as soon as he finds out that Zen and Shiryuki are an official thing, official, unofficial thing, because it's bound to come out eventually. Considering I got the impression that they're engaged, or at least it seemed that way.
They aren't, but I think the end goal is they want to be.
Yeah. Because like Zen effectively proposed to her, like at the end of the season. I think episode 11, he did basically propose to her. But whatever. I think as soon as that comes to light. Because obviously there was that whole bit where Raj was like, he thinks of her like a fiance. And then he's like, what?
Oh, that was great.
And then that gets resolved. And then when Zen's like, yeah, I think of her like a fiance, he's just gonna go like nuclear. And I reckon that could be interesting because there's a potential there that he could use his amazing like manipulative powers for evil. But obviously he would think it's the right thing to do, so he might try and create some master plan to separate the pair of them. And it'd be interesting to see what that is.
I did watch the first episode next season, so there is something along those lines.
No spoilers. I'll kick you. But yeah, I can't say anything about what is to come because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So I can't say either way. You could be right, you could be wrong, you could be thinking about Katsuki no Yona season 2 maybe.
I liked how in episode 12 Yona got the little like orange bead thing in her hair. I thought that worked really well. I did just think like most of the way through, yeah, this character's just Yona for the most part, only not as cool.
Yeah, I think Yona's a bit more badass, but I think Yona has reason to be more badass than Shiryuki does. So
I think I definitely preferred Yona over this, even which I find ironic because Yona has a lot more of the reverse harem trappings that this one avoids, and that just really confuses me. I don't like it.
Maybe you just liked Yona more than you want to admit.
Maybe I'm a Fujoshi.
I mean,
maybe I just need to embrace my inner Fujoshi and just.
I mean, Super Lovers is airing this season,
a good laugh.
So
it's a good time to jump in, isn't it? Like full throttle.
So fucking bad. Anyway, I think that's all the main characters that we can talk about for this season. I don't remember anyone else.
Yeah.
But there were other characters.
Ryu.
There was Ryu. I guess Ryu would be worth talking about.
He's a small bab, and I wanted to give him a cuddle, even though he was a bit.
I don't know what kind of vibes he was throwing.
Yeah.
Ryuki's, to be honest.
No, yeah.
Did he fancy her a little bit, or was it just
I think that's what
like admiration for like how good she is at being whatever? I don't know.
It's like a young teenager, so it wouldn't surprise me if he got like a boy crush on the lady, especially that she's got like nice hair and stuff.
It's a shame that she is dating a prince.
that's gonna like cock block anyone, isn't it? Sorry, mate, going out with a prince.
Oh my god, UCD's here.
I started laughing. It's great.
Yeah.
I liked how Obi interacted with Ryu, because that's the one time we really get to hear from him. Other times he only gets like 3 words in an episode. And just the way he was talking with him.
Thought he was cute. And that's it.
He was a cutie pie. I wish I had a son like him.
There was the head of the herbalist guild.
I don't even remember her name.
I loved her.
Neither do I. But she was great. She didn't do much. Her main her defining event thing that she did was get Shirayuki pissed.
Yeah.
Oh god, that episode was.
That's the apex of her character arc. She got her pissed and found it hilarious. That was her response. She wasn't worried or anything. She found it hilarious.
There's the other episode where she's really overworked and they make homebrew, which I liked. Yeah. With the seeds.
I must have not been concentrating properly or something, because when I saw them making the homebrew, I just assumed that they were getting her more booze. And I was like, are they just alcoholic? Don't worry, have a brandy. It'll make everything better.
Tea.
Tea.
Yeah.
I shouldn't understand why it had a tiny hot cross bun in it. I know it was like a berry or something, but...
No, it's a hot cross bun, you're right.
Tiny hot cross bun creates alcohol.
Alright, I don't think going through the show episode by episode is a good idea. So now that we've talked about the characters, let's just talk about moments that we liked. So...
I liked when she was in Clarence, and she had that relationship with her next door neighbor almost straight away, where they'd give each other food. I thought that just showed off Shirayuki's character really quickly. Just she's the sort of person who can get along with anyone, so long as she tries.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the guards.
The guards. Those guys are hilarious.
I love the guards.
They're just so dumb.
Yeah.
In a lovable way. I think probably one of my favourite moments was with drunk Shirayuki, simply because they portrayed her as the generic "you're really drunk" kind of character, where nothing that she says makes sense. Her chain of thought is all over the place. There's a bit where she's literally headbutting a wall, going, "Oh, horse! I like horses. I went on a ride on a horse once. Ed was on it. Oh, I need to get one. Where can I get a horse? I like horses. Speaking of horses, I had some jam the other day, and that was great."
I think I've had an anime con like that, you know.
What way?
Yeah, where I was thinking about horses, and then I went to eat jam out of a jar and just drank it. But no, I just feel like, that level of what is going on. Why is my mind doing this?
I just find it funny because it is very kind of textbook drunken character. It was just storybook, and it was funny for that reason. I was like, this is so generic and cliche. That's the word that I'm looking for. So cliche, but it's fantastic anyway.
Yeah. So, I'm really tired.
Favorite bits is when. Oh.
I was just gonna say the bit at the very start where she gets out of bed and just walks off and completely ignores Obi. That is perfect drunken behavior. When a drunk person's like, "I'm gonna do this," and they just ignore everything else. That was great. I appreciated that because I've been there.
Yeah. It was.
Anyway, sorry, Pat. Carry on.
Yeah, Pat was.
Oh, I was just gonna say that bit where Zen decides he's gonna go on stage, and he doesn't go from side of stage. He takes that mask, he goes above, and he just drops down.
I was expecting the rose to come down.
That was.
I want to know how that play ended.
That whole
The other actor was just like, "What? What's going on?" Can you imagine if they got into an actual Barney about it? That'd have been hilarious.
I think that episode was my favourite just because it was so different to see Zen in that sort of way, I guess. Instead of being I'm a prince and I must do princely things, he's like, I'm gonna go to the festival. Yeah, I'm gonna go into play. I'm
gonna dress up like a soldier.
Yeah.
There's that bit where he runs past the guards, and the guards are like, what's this chump doing? And he turns around and they go, Oh, it's the prince! Oh no!
Oh god, I really like that episode. I can't think of anything else because it's been so long since I've watched it, and I didn't rewatch it for this, and I'm just all flustered from today. So.
Another great bit is when like Prince, the first Prince, Princess Anna or whatever his name is, like calls Zen up, and secretly Shiryuki's just in that curtained off room, and then he reveals Shiryuki's there, and she's like, and the prince is like, I just want to chat with her for now. You can go. And then Zen walks over and like pulls the curtain up and whispers into her ear, I'll talk to you later. And then just slowly descends. I thought that was badass. I thought that was wicked.
So smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Smooth as fuck. What else? I genuinely don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, why don't we... I mean, how long have we been going for? Not very long at all.
The problem is, with that like half hour that... Well, we've been in a call for like quite a while now. And that half hour that we were waiting, I was losing steam.
We've been going for about 40 minutes, I would say.
That's not very long. Well...
But there's no point. Like, if we can't think of anything more to say, then let's just make it a short one.
Yeah.
Like to say, we've all been a bit flustered by what was going on, but we run out of things to say, basically.
The problem is, I think the reason that I'm running out of things to say personally is because I know what happens in season 2, and I'm treading really carefully so I don't spoil it for anyone who's not seen it yet and wants to go and watch it. Because in my opinion, season 1 was not very good compared to season 2. Like, season 2 was, like, it got really interesting. It had, like, an actual storyline for a bit.
I think
a
this
lot
is
of
the thing.
relationships progressed and stuff.
When it's like, if we do go and do season 2, I think what season 1 has done successfully is gotten me invested in these characters. Even though I say they're not very strong, I still, because we've seen these interactions. It's one of these things where they've kind of built up over time. So by the time we get to a point in season 2 where things start happening, I probably am going to be a lot more invested than I am now.
Yeah, for sure. I think you'll get something out of season 2 because there's some stuff that happens. Some of it's a bit tropey, but all in all, it's like quite well done. It's got a lot of action in it and stuff. They
tease it like this thing. They're teasing the tropes already. Like they're there. You can see like the shells of the tropes.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that they will build on it.
I have seen things that have been a lot more tropey in terms of like shoujo romances, so I can appreciate that it's not like, and then they go to the bathhouse and it turns out that it's a mixed bath and they both get a nosebleed.
Beach episode.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's no beach episode or anything like that as far as I remember. So.
Well, Zen goes to the beach and Shiryuki doesn't. Goes to the beach town.
Oh yeah, but it did, like, for me, I think it did remind me a lot of Yona when I was missing Yona quite a bit. It's like, oh, if they made a season 2 of Yona, that would make me real happy. And it reminded me of Yona in, I don't know why, to be honest, because they aren't that similar.
No, they're not. They're probably, I wouldn't say they're similar. What?
Red-headed protagonist girl.
That runs away.
Yeah. Is there an episode with a ton of honey? No.
Is there a scene where Zen licks honey off her hand?
Is the second season as bright as the first season? Because this whole season, I'm not sure about you, but the whole color palette of the entire show was really bright.
Yeah, it sticks.
There was the sun shining all the time.
It sticks with the same color palette until it wants to set a mood in which it will be like, and now it's nighttime.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nighttime was super bright.
It looks the same. It's supposed to be like a whole season. It's not supposed to be 2 separate seasons. But they add it sort of like they do with the Fate Zero and stuff. So it's supposed to be all one big story. So it picks up like season 2 picks right back up where season 1 ends. So it's good. It's real good.
It's real
good. Red-headed girls that cut their hair to escape a dude. I think you summed it up pretty perfectly there, Kenras. So Bex said that we should talk about presentation.
It looked nice.
It looked nice. It sounded nice. I didn't like the openings. I didn't like the endings though. So
they didn't really impact. The
good.
fight scenes were good. I like the soundtrack. The soundtrack was very chilled out.
Oh yeah, it fit in with the show heaps.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the presentation was probably one of its strongest points. It did look very nice.
the backgrounds in this show are phenomenal. Like the
backgrounds
backgrounds,
great as well.
the general sets, the character designs, the animation was fluid and really nice. Like it just looked really pretty. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It looked good. It sounded good. I liked it. Zen was very, very good looking. I mean, what?
Put a mask on him. That's all I'll say. I disagree with you until he puts a mask on, and then I agree with you 4,000%.
We just don't share the same love for Whitehead, guys. Clearly.
Whitehead guy with a mask on.
Maybe.
God, I'm just getting flashbacks to bloody Vampire Night now. God.
I need to watch Vampire Night at some point.
No, you don't.
I feel like-
Oh no, please don't,
No, you
Abby.
don't.
I feel
It
like I
is-
really need to.
No, you don't.
I've watched that.
There is a
entire
Whitehead.
series.
There are two Whitehead guys in it,
Oh,
and one of them does wear a mask. So you
There
know.
you go then. It should be exactly up your alley.
Well,
Oh,
yes,
it's
but no.
just-
No.
I like how you're both just like,
No.
"Please, don't do it.
I'd watch it if I was with a group of people and I could make fun of it because it's just that bad.
What would happen?
I'm sorry,
if
Vampire Night lovers, but
What would happen if I came back? Like we do season 2. Oh sure, Yuki say that. And I'm like, I watched Vampire Night and it's my new favorite anime. I think it's the best.
reckon-
I would defriend you. I'd sit you down and be like, Ebby, we need to rethink this friendship.
Literally everyone
do
in
a
chat is
double
like,
OKKO.
no, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then
do a
there's
double
Ken Russell,
OKKO. We'll do the
like,
second
like,
season
show.
of this and Vampire Night and Vampire Night Guilty, which I argue is the worst of the two.
You know what? One day we'll do.
Guilty in the first season.
When I get to 10,000 subscribers, we'll do Ebby watches an anime where I play a drinking game, and it might be Vampire Night. So you never know. Right, should we do final thoughts then? And
Let's
just
wrap up. I think it's a good do that.
Yeah, so Animelting is first on the layout, but that's me. I don't know what to do. I'm confused.
Just fix
I'll go.
Yeah,
it's a nice show. It's somewhere you can escape to for a while. If you want somewhere nice or something enjoyable to watch where you don't really have to think or pay that much attention even, this is a nice place to go. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah.
7 out of 10, not bad. Cam.
Yeah, it was all right. I had a good time watching it. Like I say, it didn't jump out at me as much as maybe other shows that do
Yona.
a similar sort of thing, like Yona, for example.
Eh.
I think it's one of those things where it's like you say, it kind of takes the fantasy setting, but it doesn't really do anything with it. And being a big fantasy fan like me, and there are other stories that have taken the restrained fantasy aspect of things, but still kept enough in there to keep me really interested. Whereas this has gone with a more like medieval, just like this is ye oldie times, which is still fine, I guess, but you know what I'm like. So yeah, I think this is definitely a nice. It's very chill. Like if you just want something to sit down and watch that is chill, but it's got a little bit of drama in it every now and again to make you go, ooh, how are they going to get out of this one? Then maybe Snow White with the red hair is for you. It's also got boys in it. Boys are nice. It's not really got enough girls in it, and girls are also nice. So, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. It didn't cater to my interests enough. They tried with the hot pants, the anachronistic hot pants, but unfortunately, it was too little, too late. There were birds in it, which was good. Burbs. But yeah. So I didn't love it, but it was far from bad. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
That's a Yona out of 10 in your
I'll give
course.
it a Yona out of 10.
Hold on, I gotta do some maths while I say mine. So I liked this show a whole lot, I think. Surprise,
I remember when you
surprise.
were watching it in my flat, you were like, "Oh, it's Snow White and the red hair."
Like, I got super invested in, especially season 2. Like, I think it gets so much better in season 2. And I think it's a shame that I decided that we should only do the first half. Because
I did. Because
I
otherwise
just
I would have been
wanted
in
to
trouble
make it.
today.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it like a quick watch for people who want to join in and stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the pair of us especially, we're both quite busy at the moment, so it's difficult for us to do anything that's longer than 12 episodes.
it's
2
very
weeks.
true. It's very, very true. I think.
Siri, what are you doing?
Yep.
Siri, man. Happens at work. I need to turn her off.
Yeah, just turn our right off. Yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Because it just caters exactly to what I like, and I'm sure if I watched Berserk, I'd probably give it a low score compared to you. So it's all about tastes, and that's fine. We welcome different.
I guarantee you won't. But okay.
Oh, maybe we'll see one day. Who knows? Anyway, that gives us a 21 out of 30.
Nice.
So, not too bad considering one of us is super not into this genre show. So.
Yeah, someone.
Yeah. So next time on OKKO Anime Club, we are talking about Young Blackjack, and I know some of you are like, "That sounds like it's a super old show that no one wants to watch." This show aired last year, and I've watched an episode of it, and it's amazing. So you should watch Young Blackjack, and we're going to be
Blackjack alone is amazing. And I've not seen Young Blackjack yet, but I have every faith that it's going to be fantastic.
So
Like, we were talking about how like Shirayuki is like House. Well, Young Blackjack
is actually like House.
actually House.
Yeah. So that one's going to be very, very interesting. So we're going to be joined by Kinras. That's going to be on May 14th at 4 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. BST. We are in BST now, aren't we? Boost. So yeah, come join us for that. How about you promote yourself once more, Pat, and then we'll leave.
Well, I'm Bizarre Jelly 5, as you can see clearly from my frame. I do videos on my channel, and I write things on Twitter, which are sometimes humorous. And I have a Twitter handle down there. If you like me, why not go look at my channel? You might like that too. I'm bad at promoting myself.
Go and check out Pat's channel. I was going to call you about 7 other names then, because I was thinking of names that began with A, but your actual name doesn't begin with A, so I got confused. Go and check out Pat's channel because he's lovely, and go and watch his videos. Give him all the money somehow, even though I don't think he has ads on his videos. Go and give him all the money somehow, so that we can bring him back over to England, because I miss him a lot. So there you go. That's what I want.
Aww, I miss you too.
Bye everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.